NBC Sports presents the American Le Mans Series. Today, the X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma. Well, Bill Adam has talked about how much fun it would be to drive one of these American Le Mans machines on the highway. This is the Golden Gate Bridge back on Wednesday. Bill, you weren't in any of these cars, were you?
Geez, I wish I was. I don't think I'd even have stopped at the toll gate. You're so low, you'd have gone underneath the gate. And I am Scottish. I got to save that quarter.
That's Bill pedaling the bicycle that our camera crew was using, I think, there. One of the PTG BMWs there, one of Kevin Buckler's Racers Group Porsches, and a little escort. Yeah. There's the Celine.
That's it. You're speeding, fella. Pull over.
I think everyone was very careful to observe the posted speed limit on the Golden Gate.
Done by BMW Europe, so they're identical, but there's the pride that comes through between teams. You always want to knock off the other guys, even though they may have the same equipment. You want to prove you're...
So the GT pole, BMW of Fredrik Ekblom and Dirk Müller, 1:33.7, 12 seconds shy of the best LMP lap of the weekend, 2/10 clear of his nearest class rival and half a second faster than teammates JJ Lehto and Jörg Müller.
Yeah, okay, I'm really lucky. I'm happy for BMW and you know, the whole Schnitzer team. We have been quickest this morning in the practice, and we're just running our program since yesterday, and step by step Fredrik and I improved our BMW M3 GTR, and you know, it's running really well, and I'm quite confident for tomorrow.
Well, that's right, Martin. As Rick and Bill alluded to, there are now 4 of these V8 powered BMWs in the field, and that's double the trouble for the Porsche camp. They're still up in arms that this V8 powered BMW can even run in the GT category, but they are here in force. In fact, they qualified 1 through 4. The Schnitzer Michelin shod cars qualified on the pole with Dirk Müller behind the wheel, and then the PTG cars are here with the Yokohama tires. They qualified 2nd and 3rd. Billy Auberlen doing the driving stint here in the number 10 machine. So there's going to be fireworks here this afternoon between the BMW boys in the GT category.
Schnitzer BMW team celebrating pole position for the M3 in the GTR class. Jörg Müller and JJ Lehto a bit slower than Dirk Müller and Fredrik Ekblom. 4th on the grid.
Sears Point Raceway is 2.5 miles and 12 turns, but most notable, you don't really get a straight on this track.
Qualifying that car 9th, and on the pole in GT, starting in the 10th spot in the 3 car. Actually, the GT pole sitter starts 12th, and that will be the machine of Dirk Müller and Fredrik Ekblom. Rest of the field, as the cars roll away, we'll show you starting 10th. It's Ron Fellows, Johnny O'Connell in the Corvette. The other Corvette, Andy Pilgrim, starts the 4 car today. There's the 43, one of the factory BMWs alongside Bill Auberlen. Hans Stuck is next in line in a BMW. JJ Lehto's 42 car, and then some of the other GT machines. Shamasin in the 23 car as they line up in the field here today. Today we've got a couple of rides in the BMWs, Bill Auberlen and Nick Johnson in the 10. That's one of the factory BMWs. Actually, Tom Milner's prototype group. The 43 machine, that's the other factory BMW, Dirk Müller and Fredrik Ekblom, and they line up in 12th spot today. And they will have a great run, I think, in that V8 powered machine.
Safety car is on track at the moment. It's just gone off. Of course, it's always a rolling start here. We're waiting for the green flag so the starter can get us underway here at Sears Point. Audis 1 and 2 for now. We've gone green and we're racing, and a fantastic start for David Brabham in the Panos. Straight away to 3rd place, zooming off 2nd row, and Andy Wallace with work to do in the White Champion Racing team car. Well, a superb start indeed for David Brabham, just getting the jump there, 4th fastest in qualifying, but it's Audis 1 and 2, and how familiar does that sound?
Next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, NASCAR returns to NBC. Coverage of the Napa Auto Care 250 from Pikes Peak. Fresh off 2 straight wins, including one last night at Gateway. Busch Series points leader Kevin Harvick hopes to keep his hot streak going in the Napa Auto Care 250. I'll be there with Dorsey Schrader for the coverage Saturday, 3:30 Eastern Time, right here on NASCAR's new home, which of course is NBC. Good to have you with us. Let's check in on that battle, though, for GT dominance. The 4 factory-prepared BMWs that we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Well, Bill Auberlen's at the head of the class by a good bit over Dirk Müller and JJ Lehto. This is one of Tom Milner's PTG cars, so not a factory run team.
Now, right now, they're winning the battle of egos between the 4 BMW cars.
As we take a look at your GT class points in the American Le Mans Series, brought to you by BMW. Sasha Masson and Lucas Lohr, Randy Popes, those are Porsche-mounted drivers. And Boris and Hans Stuck tied for 5th. They're a couple of the BMW pilots, and they drive for Tom Milner's Prototype Technologies team.
Excellent battles all the way through here.
Riding with Auberlen in the 10 car now. He is 11th overall and leading the GT category down the front straightaway, which, as you mentioned earlier, Bill, really isn't much of a front stretch. You kind of create an arc out of the final corner.
The whole course is just one long arc. You try to go inside to outside edge. You're so rarely going in a straight line here, but the track is very satisfying.
Back at Sears Point Raceway in Sonoma, California, the American Le Mans Series on NBC Sports. Today, the X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma. I'm Rick Benjamin, Bill Adam alongside. Calvin Fish, Martin Haven on pit road for us. We've had a cycle of pit stops, not quite to halfway today. And here's how things stack up right now. Emmanuel Pirro in the 2 car for the Audi team is out in front. Tom Christensen has just taken over the number 1 machine that led early from Dindo Capello. He has fallen back off of those pit stops to 2nd. David Brabham, Jan Magnussen still 3rd in their Panos machine. Andy Wallace, Johnny Herbert sit 4th in the champion Audi. Action with a drivetrain problem. We ride with one of the GT contenders. Wayne Taylor, Max Angelelli 5th overall in their Cadillac right now. And we'll show you the second 5 in the standings as well. John Fields 37 cars 6th, the 2 GTS Corvettes, the Celine, and then one of the 4 BMWs. We'll be back with more of the American Le Mans Series, the X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma, after these words from our local stations.
Hence he'll be in the pits earlier. Then when Tom has to pit, he won't be in the pits as long. So they're hoping that that strategy will pay out, and maybe that's why Tom is being so patient right now.
Lapping by Hans Stuck's GT BMW, the new GTR machine with the V8 power plant. Some controversy, as we told you at the top of the broadcast. Here's one of the other BMWs with the V8, the 43 car, currently 2nd in GT. The team car, the 42, with Jörg Müller up, is leading that category. We'll show you more about the GT machines a little bit later on this afternoon. Officials giving the privateer teams a little bit of extra incentive now, starting with this race. But let's show you what's going on in the GT category, the most populated category. 12 GT cars in the field today here at Sears Point. And there are the leaders, the 42 machine, one of the factory BMWs, the white car with the blue trim. The 42 car at the moment being steered by Jörg Müller. In that machine, J.J. Lehto started the car. Here's Fredrik Ekblom in the 43. They are 1 and 2 in that category. Tom Milner's 2 machines, the 6 and the 10, are right behind in 3rd and 4th. So here's your battle for 2nd in GT. The 43 machine with Ekblom driving, Hans Stuck in the 6, trying to get to the inside as they come up the hill. Not quite enough as they head toward turn 7. There's Stuckey, though, on the outside. Takes a look there, and he won't be able to close the deal this time by either. Calvin Fish, you've been watching this GT battle, I know, from pit road. How do things stack up down there?
Well, it's very interesting, Rick. The one thing that we noted on the final pit stop they made under that caution, all 4 BMWs came in, and only the number 42 machine of Jörg Müller actually changed to fresh tires. That really gave him some speed, and he immediately shot to the front of that pack. But I spoke to Tom Milner, who heads up the team PTG, the number 6 and 10 cars, and he said this is very much like the Audi customer cars in as much as that they have 2 of those BMW engines come to them. They have BMW engineers stand there. They don't even know what revs they're really running. It runs much like the light system on the Audi that you've seen on the in-cars, where they just see the lights come up. When it hits red, they switch gears. So it's a little bit of secrecy there from the BMW official factory, but certainly got good power in all 4 of those cars.
They do indeed have good power, and I think that's one of the controversies that the Porsche people are really upset about this car, because the V8 that is in this car is not similar to any other V8 by BMW in the whole world. It's a purebred race motor.
Now, these are 2-door coupes, the M3 bodies. Let's show you how they all started. They started 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And the 2 separate teams, the white cars with the blue trim, those are the BMW, considered the factory teams. The PTG cars are the cars that you see with the dark blue roofs. Those are the cars Boris said, Hans Stuck, Bill Auberlen, and Nick Jönsson driving those cars. So you see where they stand right now. Let's get a little more on the drivability of these cars. Martin Haven standing by with one of the pilots for Team BMW.
J.J. Lehto, currently your car is leading the class, despite the fact that during the last yellow flag pit stops you came out in 4th place because Jörg Müller took on some fresh tyres and a tank full of fuel. Will this get you to the end?
Well, you know, it was just a splash and dash anyway, you know, and that was a good time to do it. But Jörg flat-spotted the tires very badly. That's why we had to change them. And, you know, I was a little bit disagreeing, you know, the thing that why we have to change all 4. Why don't we just change the tire, you know, which was badly flat-spotted? You know, I thought that that's going to be a really bad decision, you know, because all the cars are very equal. You know, there's hard racing and it's difficult to get by. But, you know, he did some brave overtakings and brave brakings, you know. So, you know, it seems to be that everything is going well at the moment. We are leading the race and, you know, he's controlling it pretty well.
Well, JJ was looking very frustrated when they made that pit stop, but you can see the smile on his face now, guys.
It certainly played out well for them. That 42 car, Jörg Müller and JJ Lehto leading the GT category, and they're 9th overall. One of the Cadillacs, the 7 car, back on the racetrack now. That's the car that wrecked during the morning warm-up, and they put the machine back together. They've had other problems today. Wayne Taylor's Cadillac out of action. We'll show you that in just a few moments. Here's John Field in that Lola Judd-powered machine, the red and blue 37, the Banana Joe's car. Very strong, been dominant here again all day, gunning for what would be their 14th consecutive victory. Started here a year ago, did that win string, carried through Le Mans. They're just an impressive race team. Got a great battle on the racetrack, though, of course, in GT. We've shown you the 4 BMWs, the PTG cars, the American factory effort, if you will. The 2 white cars from BMW Motorsports Technology, the 2 German factory cars. Great drivers in their contact, no problem at all. The Porsches, of course, battling the BMWs in GT. You know the history of Porsche in endurance racing. It is a long and storied history. Some of the greatest moments for Porsche have, of course, come at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Now, Porsche presents a Le Mans memory moment.
We asked these fellows about them. They said they were Orica cars, but had never been raced. They were brand new when they bought them, and they are just in the midst of developing and carrying on the tradition of racing Vipers, which, boy, were they ever trains when they were running here.
The Orica Vipers, of course, a couple of the dominant cars in ALMS in '99 and in 2000. Team Orica racing prototype machines now for Chrysler. They were very strong at Le Mans. We expect to see them over here in the American Le Mans Series before the year is completed. Here's Herbert in the 38, the champion Audi, moving through some of the slower GT machinery, working around a couple of Porsches, heading toward the front, he hopes, in the waning moments here. Meantime, there's the Corvette, the 3 car, leading in GTS, 5th overall.
Drivers all pacing themselves for now. BMW's leading the GT class. BMW battle, Dirk Müller in the 43 car ahead of JJ Lehto in the 42. Boris Said in the number 6 car as well. Seems to have survived it, thank goodness. So BMW of Lehto and Said. It's Audi's 1 and 2. The Panos 3rd ahead of the 38 Privateer Audi. GTS, it's Saleen, followed by the 2 Corvettes. And BMW's 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the GT class. We'll be back at Sears Point after this very short break. Do stay with us. Great racing this. So there you have it, clear as mud. Green flag, we've restarted, and the track cleared of debris, and it's Audi's 1 and 2, but not those numbers that we heard before. It's the number 2 Audi leading now ahead of the number 1. The Panos is there. They've all made a stop in the 900s. The GTS, it's Corvettes now 1 and 2, with the Saleen in 3rd place, and BMW's 1, 2 and 3 in the GT class, and on board with Niclas Jönsson. And a pit stop for Jörg Müller, the number 42, still very close in the GT race. Number 43, Fredrik Ekblom. He's also staying on board. He's already out. And Müller will be wanting to get back into the fray as quickly as possible. Well, Johnny Herbert, fresh from Formula One, his racecraft is absolutely assured, and he's got the Panos in his sights here. He just has to get through traffic fairly and squarely, and does it neatly enough. Look at that. Well, can he catch Magnussen in the number 50 Panos and make it an Audi 1, 2, 3? No formation finish, as he's a few laps down on the factory cars, but it could be an all Audi podium. Or will Jan Magnussen spoil the party? That's how we're set for now. We'll be back at Sears Point with the remainder of this race after this short break. Do stay with us. It's for him. And look at this battle amongst the GT class with the BMWs. Hans Stuck is in there, as is Fredrik Ekblom. And we're looking at the number 42 and number 10. All four of those locked together in a real scrap in GT. Pulling the trailer and going home. Ekblom in the 43 BMW ahead of Jörg Müller, number 42. Hans Stuck is in the 6 car behind. And then the number 4 of a Corvette challenging them. He'll be looking to move through in just a moment. The flag's waving to say the faster car's coming down on you. Jörg Müller going through the Wallace Herbert machine. The champion racing number 38 car just left in the distance. Totally supreme, these vehicles. Picking their way beautifully through the traffic then. Tight and twisty here at Sears Point. Plenty of elevation as well, up and down, roundabout. Some bottlenecks do form in traffic, but the Audis stuck absolutely together. BMW suspending their battle just for a moment while the faster vehicles go through. They'll resume. The red Viper soon dispatched by the silver machines.
About 3 more laps to go. Tom Christensen in the 1 car. He's about 12.5 seconds ahead of his teammate Pirro in the number 2 out. Going by one of those GT BMWs. Nice and easy up the hill toward turn 2. What's going through Christensen's mind right now, Bill Adam? I'm sure he's hearing every noise that car makes as the last family we congratulate. Oh, and a spin, the GT battle between the BMWs, the 6 car, Hans Stuck battling with the 42 of Jörg Müller. Stuckey turns the car around in the final corner. It looks as though Müller will win the GT battle. Stuck may get second, but no. Dirk Müller's machine, Fredrik Ekblom, in the 43 car now will get by. Boy, there's your winner in class in the 42, Jörg Müller.
That would be interesting to listen to that conversation in the pit.
I think there will be some discussion of that.
There'd be a lot of bleeping of that one.
Here's Jörg Müller in the 42 car. He is your GT category winner. Of course, the prototype 675 victory. The only car in that class, the 57 from Dick Barber Racing. Didier de Radiguet is finishing up in that car. They will finish 13th overall here today. One of the 4 factory BMW M3s with a new V8 power plant. The 42 car, J.J. Lehto started that car. Jörg Müller will finish 7th overall and cop the class victory in GT for BMW. So a strong debut for that new combination of V8 motor, M3 chassis and body. Müller grabs the GT honors here at Sears Point.
He too is one of the really, really fine drivers. I remember at the Petit Le Mans a couple of years ago when he basically lost the race.
Back at Sears Point Raceway in Northern California, the X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma into the books today. Another victory for the 2 Audis. Car number 1, Tom Christensen, Nino Capello winning. Pirro and Biela finished second in the 2 car. The Panos on the podium for the first time in an awfully long time. In that number 50, the LMP1 back this year, this season, this week. Johnny Herbert and Andy Wallace finished 4th. We'll take you through 11th through 20th. Sasha Masson in the Porsche, the 23. One of the Cadillacs finishing 12th, the 7 car that wrecked in the morning warm-up. Great job just to get that car on the racetrack and in competition today. Bill, anything stick out to you as we look at the rest of the standings here?
I think just really the consistency of the Audi team once again. They are able to run so hard, so consistent. The cars don't break. Everybody works perfectly. It just goes on and on.
As we enjoy a beautiful afternoon here.
Calvin Fish is with the winner.
Well, it was Jörg Müller and J.J. Lehto who came out on top, and really strategy with the tyres there on the final stop. Jörg won you the race, I believe.
Yeah, never change your winning team, thanks to J.J. and my team. I mean, we were on a different tyre strategy, as you said. We put on new tyres, and yeah, the other fucked theirs quite heavily at the beginning, so I could pass them immediately. Also, thanks to my teammate and to the other 2 BMWs, I never had any problems to pass them. So, fantastic weekend.
Awesome job.
Thank you.
And let's show you what happened in the GT category here today as the fans enjoy lovely weather in Northern California. The BMW's dominant, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The 2 factory cars from Germany, the 42 and the 43. And Tom Milner's 2 American factory cars finished 3rd and 4th. That will be a heated battle through the rest of the season.
Yes, it will. You know that Miller's not going to sit down, and even though the cars may be identical at birth, you always massage them. You put in your own little special tricks. And Milner has had such a good operation running over the last few years, running M3s, that he'll find something that's going to beat the European cars.